Hi everybody, welcome to this new episode of the WAN Network Show. I'm Rémi Lorrain from Semtech, Director for LoRaWAN Networks and Chairman of the LoRa Alliance Operator Community. Today, we are honored to feature Melita. Melita is a LoRaWAN public operator in Germany, aiming to cover countrywide with LoRaWAN. And he is represented by Mr. Tobias Stiepak, CEO of Melita. Tobias, welcome to the WAN Network Show. I'll let you introduce yourself and your company.
Bonjour, Rémi. Thanks for having me today. And hi to all the listeners out there. As you said, my name is Tobias Stiepak. I'm the CEO of Melita.io. We are an ISP. Well, as we translated, IoT service provider, meaning that we provide connectivity to connected devices. That's normally sensors. And we do this with our two main products. On one hand, we have a cellular connectivity line, which means that we provide LTE and NB-IoT or even 3G, 4G, 5G services to connected devices. On the other hand, and that's why we're here today, we're building a LoRaWAN network in Germany and use this connectivity option in Germany to our German customers, of course.
Tobias, you know that I like to say that every LoRaWAN operator is special. How are you special in Germany, Melita?
Thanks to me. We are a LoRaWAN operator in Germany. That makes us kind of special, but jokes aside, I think what I mentioned before, we have two connectivity options that are normally seen as kind of competitors, the cellular and the LoRaWAN technology. But we think that for our customers, it should really not matter what technology they're using to connect their sensors to their platforms, as long as it fits the use case, right? So we're somehow connectivity agnostic in that way. And on the other hand, what makes us really unique is that we're building a public LoRa network within Germany, meaning that we have a LoRaWAN infrastructure that every company can connect to and use it, and provide there a B2B approach, so meaning 24/7 service, SLAs, all these nice things that you would expect from a business provider.
Fine. You are a connectivity provider, a carrier-grade connectivity provider, but we all know that you need end-to-end services to deliver to your customers. So you need to grow a local ecosystem. How do you manage this ecosystem, or how do you grow this ecosystem in Germany? That I imagine is a huge endeavor, right?
Absolutely, Rémi. If we just look at IoT from a very high angle now, or I would say we have three pillars. One is a sensor that connects via the second pillar, the connectivity, to a third one, which is the analytics platform. So that's a very general setup for an IoT solution, right? And as you just said, we only provide the connectivity piece. So the other two pillars, the sensor and the analytics platform, they need to be provided from one of our partners, right? That's why the main focus of my sales team is to grow and get more partners into our ecosystem. We have small partners that only have one or two sensors in their portfolio, to huge partners like system integrators that have also IT resources for a potential rollout with the customer and all these things. So that's exactly one of the let's say key things that we need to get done and set up in Germany is also for LoRa in general is a vibrant and huge ecosystem of companies that work with LoRa, right? And that's what we are pushing for, and also let's say trying to get more and more international partners also into the German market, because also, as you know, Rémi, for sure, some LoRa markets in Europe are more major than the German one, and hence the partners there have also more experience. And so our job is also to find use cases for them. So in short, as we only provide the connectivity, we always need partners to provide an end-to-end solution, because our customer connectivity alone, there's not much to gain, because you need the whole use case, right? And that's where we rely on partners. Absolutely.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. But when you start massive IoT, one of the challenges I think is that you have so many use cases. So you need to focus to grow your business. What would be today your target use cases or target verticals, right?
Yeah, I think from our side, there is no specific target use case. We see a lot of use cases that come and go. And, now we have a lot of use cases, a lot of requests around the topic of energy management, energy saving. Of course, that's a huge topic now within Europe and also, of course, within Germany. So there's lots of companies, real estate companies, but also, let's say, factories that are now looking at their energy consumption and try to somehow first measure it and then reduce it, of course. And LoRa provides here a lot of options when it comes to all these energy measurements, and hence we see a lot of use cases at the moment in this direction, right? To quantify what is the consumption, to understand what kind of, how much gas are we actually, let's say, needing for the production, right? How much gas are we using actually? These are use cases that we see popping up. It used to be, we saw a number of tracking use cases before that. Also, there's still a lot of tracking use cases in the market. And before that, we had a lot of use cases around COVID, which means air quality measurement in school buildings and public buildings, for example. And I expect them to, come back now as we might hit another wave of COVID. So I think all these use cases are that all these use cases we worked on them in the previous years, and I expect them to, grow and go with time. So I think for now, the energy is the most compelling at the moment.
So cool to see that you are solving real problems and these are tangible, let's say, use cases. You have the power to play on cellular IoT and LoRaWAN. What are the differences or the specificities of each of these technologies on the massive IoT market?
That's an excellent question, Rémi. Very good. Somehow I knew that you would ask me this question, right? But if you look at the differences in the technology, I would say that LoRaWAN and also what we see in the market, not only what the technology offers us, but also how the customers use the technology. What we see on the LoRa side is clearly a mass adoption or massive use cases. So you don't deploy one or two LoRa sensors. It's always in the hundreds and thousands. And LoRa is built for these use cases, designed, I would even say, for these use cases because it's cost efficient. You can easily add new gateways. Let's say if you have a coverage issue in a building, then you can easily add another gateway and the coverage issue should be solved, which is not really possible on a cellular side. So the cost efficiency, the flexibility, but also the huge, the very good battery efficiency that we see on the LoRa side makes it as an ideal solution for a massive rollout. So you remember I just talked about energy use cases, and these energy use cases are always massive use cases. So in that case, they see LoRa is a very good choice for these cases. On the cellular side, on the other hand, of course, it's been around for a while, and we see that use cases that are more critical, that need to rely more on the data connectivity in terms of like a data package arrives and might not get lost somewhere, right? So these use cases that typically require high latency, high reliability, these are things that you see more often, I would say, on the cellular side. Also tracking, because of course there is a LTE-M network across Europe that you can use for tracking, which is basically something that is used by companies, right? So in the end, I would say LoRa is massive use cases, cost-effective use cases, and on the on the cellular side, we have more critical use cases that requires low latency over, let's say, a closed network across Europe. That's how I would see it at the moment, right? But of course, it's not one technology against the other technology. That's why we said we are technology agnostic, right? We say, fine, whatever the customer needs to build his use case, we're going to deliver and bring in as one-stop shop or as one solution to the customer. For us, it doesn't really matter. It's like the data from both cellular and LoRa will be delivered to the same input to the customer, for example. So for us, it's, let's say,
Okay, it's a good demonstration
that suit all the needs, right?
Yes, I like maybe the word complementary is more suited here. People say competition, but I like when I hear you, I think of a complete complementarity of the two technologies, and it's like a toolbox, and you can offer both to the market. I like that because I think that's a market trend, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Rémi. I think it's no black and white here, right? In the end, the customer with its use case decides whether we're going to be successful or not, and hence, we're going to always help him choose the best technology in that case. But it's like, as you said, it's something. It's not competition here on that side. I don't see that.
Is there a customer project that you are proud of, or you think compelling?
Well, in the end, I'm proud of almost our customer projects because it's a step into a more digital future, right? So in the end, but of course, if you see all these energy use cases now, that is something where I feel that we bring a lot of benefit with our connectivity options, also with LoRa into the German market. That helps not only to reach climate goals or energy efficiency goals, but it helps the company to solve a current problem. And that is something where I wouldn't say proud of, but it's always good to see that technology solves a real problem and is not in search for a problem. And that's what we see here with LoRaWAN and the use cases here, right? Also, let's say the air quality measurement in schools or in public buildings, that's also a big thing. It helps us going through third wave, maybe, it makes our life easier. So, and that's how IoT should be.
Okay. So you've been talking about the German IoT market. What do you think is specific to this market today in terms of level of development, maturity, maybe? How do you see it?
Now, compared to other European countries, I would say Germany is always a bit slow in the adoption of digital products. It's not only about IoT, it's also about fiber build out. It's also about, getting rid of or getting smarter online-based processes into bureaucracy and things like that. But when it comes to IoT, I think the German market is in its infancy, in the very early stages. You see that there's quite a number of companies now focusing on that market. It's getting some traction, but we are still not as mature as we are in other European countries. Hence, we also are looking for partners, right, from other European markets to help us in growing that ecosystem and become a major IoT market in Germany. I think there is a number of use cases out there, but it's not, let's say, IoT has not, let's say, reached that status, let's say, like a fiber build out at the moment, because in previous years, Germany neglected a lot of the fiber build out. Now it's the prior one. Everybody, lots of companies investing money into the German market to get fiber connectivity everywhere. And in the IoT market, you see that there's lots of companies now joining, but there is not the IoT market defined yet. That is still to be worked out in the coming years, right?
Melita is not only in Germany. I know that you have deployed a mobile network in Malta, but you are also a pan-European. I guess you have in mind some future international strategy for LoRaWAN, relying on roaming. How do you see this international strategy for Melita, given that Germany is in the middle of Europe, right? So maybe you have a strategic location.
Yeah, Jamie, you just said it, right? Germany is somehow at the heart of Europe, at least geographically. And hence our companies and customers, they have factories all across Europe. But also there's lots of goods crossing Germany. So yeah, I mean, you can't really build a German IoT LoRaWAN network without thinking about what happens if my customer has a factory in the Netherlands, in France, and so on and so on. So roaming is, well, let's say, was a very fundamental piece of our strategy and is today. So we're quite happy that we found now a solution with the help of the LoRa Alliance to IT LoRaWAN providers in Europe, in our countries like the Netherlands, Switzerland, or France around. So we're quite happy that this is now seamlessly possible for our customers, right? So with now we can, or our customer can onboard a sensor, meaning activating a sensor on our network and use it in other markets as well. That's a very good step forward. And I mean, it is seamless as you expected also on the cellular side, right? So, and it is, as I said, quite vital for us because our customers have use cases. And I don't want to build a network all across Europe. I want to partner with other networks. Roaming is an essential piece for us. And it's good to see that this has now been solved and that networks can now work with each other. That's very good.
Okay. Tobias, what if you could give one message to the German market IoT end users, what would it be?
One message would be, I don't know if I can reduce it to one message, but if you know what I just said, Germany is always lacking a bit behind when it comes to digitalization. Now with fiber, we are, just take that example, we're like 2-3 years behind, even 5-10 years, depends on which country you compare us to. But my message to the market then would be, don't let that happen. Excuse me, don't let that happen in IoT again. Don't focus too much now, or let's say you have to focus on a potential recession coming in, but don't stop now all of the IoT projects, because exactly these IoT projects, cost-saving projects, for example, can help you to leave then the recession at the end of the recession in a stronger position than you are today, right? So don't see IoT now only as like, we have to invest hundreds and thousands here. No, also see the benefits of that invest and take the decision to invest maybe also in uncertain times, because that will help you after that circle. And then in the end, you will be stronger positioned after recession and more competitive if you decide to go into trends like IoT now, right? Just if you think back what would have happened if you would have taken the massive fiber investments like 15 years ago already, right? In what position would Germany be now? So that's the same question that you have to ask yourself now with the adoption of IoT.
Okay, I couldn't agree more. Tobias, I'm convinced. I want to register or to connect my devices to Melita networks. I want to buy connectivity. How do I proceed?
Well, that's pretty easy to me. You just go to our website, melita.io, and there you find all the information. You can register. There's also our portal where you can connect the sensors. So it's all there. It's a one-stop shop, as I said before. And yeah, just drop by and have a look.
So it seems very simple. Anything to add, Tobias?
No. Thank you, Rémi, for having me today. It was great talking to you about the latest developments in LoRa, the latest developments at Melita. Right? It's a quite exciting time. So I hope that we're going to have that conversation soon again, because there's so much changing, and maybe in half a year's time, the IoT world might look different, but let's see.
Cool. Thank you very much, Tobias. Thank you guys for listening to this very awesome new episode. Feel free to register to the WAN Network Show and follow us on LinkedIn, and stay tuned, a new episode to come. Have a fantastic day, Tobias. It was so nice to have you today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe for new episodes and sign up for new episode alerts.